I think the idea came to us after Mr. Garbaldus's funeral. He was our junior high gym teacher, a lovable nut job, and I think just about everybody liked him. We went to the service, of course, and we passed by the excavator in the graveyard. I remember Nate saying something like, "Being buried alive is my worst fucking nightmare." We stopped and peered down the hole. It wasn't finished yet, the ground more or less frozen solid, but they were about halfway done. I could see Nate shuddering as he carefully glanced over the edge. I think Frake noticed his reaction too, and gave me a weak nod as I raised my eyebrows. Now it's important to note that Nate was a real prankster. He loved fucking us over, Frank and me, and he had taken great pleasure in doing so for the better part of our lives. The three of us go back all the way to kindergarten, and I remember very vividly the first time he pranked me. He pulled out the chair from under me as I sat down, and I ended up sprawling on the floor helplessly. Since then, his pranks have evolved into more sophisticated shenanigans, of course, like bubble wrapping my car, or shaving Frank's head while he slept, or sporadically hacking into our social media accounts to change our profile pictures. Harmless stuff like that. But we were pretty sick of it. It was like he believed that the prankster persona to be the cornerstone of his identity. Like he ceased to exist without it. Like his entire life revolved around fucking people over. It was getting pretty fucking tiresome, I'll tell you that much. So Frank and I had discussed it for weeks, how to prank him back, how to make him realize how shitty it can make you feel, because talking to him about it didn't yield anything. He'd just make excuses, call us pussies or whatever, and eventually change the subject entirely. So that was that then. We couldn't resolve it peacefully, so we had to hit him back, and hard. So I came up with a plan. It was pretty straightforward, but the genius was the simplicity of it. We'd construct a makeshift coffin, basically a wooden box, and get him blackout drunk, no hard feet, and place him in it when he passed out. We'd nail the thing shut, shovel a handful of dirt around for the extra flair of authenticity, and patiently wait until he woke up, hopefully freaking the fuck out. Then we'd open the box, after letting him sweat for a few minutes, and do the old point and laugh. It was the perfect prank. Correction, it would have been the perfect prank if we had just followed the plan. And to be fair, everything started great. We threw a party at Frank's, and I made sure to spike Nate's drink whenever he wasn't paying attention. At midnight, he was fucking wasted, and to top it off, we got him to take a few extra shots just to make sure he'd reached the level of dead drunk. After the party cleared out, we carried him to the garage where we had set up the box, placed him in there, nailed the lid shut, and shoveled some dirt around. It was perfect. Now all we had to do was wait. But it soon got dreadfully boring. We went back to the house and kept drinking until we both passed out. I woke up with a terrible hangover 12 hours later. All I can think about was getting home, so that's just what I did. I left Frank snoring on the couch and spent the rest of the day trying not to move at all. As far as I know, that's exactly what Frank did as well. Yes, you guessed it. We completely forgot about Nate. Look, it was a pretty shitty thing to do, I know. Not the coffin thing. He totally had that coming. But forgetting we even put him in there in the first place? Yeah, definitely shitty. I was lounging in my couch when everything suddenly came back to me, and I immediately panicked and called Frank. Fucker wasn't responding, probably still passed out. So I rushed over there, heading straight for the garage. The box was open and empty. I let out a sigh of relief. He probably had kicked the thing open and got out. No big deal. But upon closer inspection, I noticed something else. Vomit, Shit, piss, blood, and claw marks on the lid. Holy fuck. He must have totally lost it in there. There was no telling how long he'd been trapped, but it really didn't matter. The sense of horror and confusion and utter fucking dread he must have experienced. It made my stomach churn just thinking about it. He had to be fucking pissed at us. I tried calling him over and over, but got no response. I sent him several messages asking if he was okay, and I made sure to apologize profusely, but I don't think he read them. I got Frank to do the same, but nothing. It was like he was ignoring us, and with good reason, some would claim. I had class with him the following Monday, and I was truly dreading having to face him. What would he do? How would he react? Whatever he did, I knew I deserved it. But not knowing what state of mind he was in was torture. I can't really describe how I felt when I saw him approaching me in the hallway. I froze, just stood there trembling. "Sup, Paul?" He smiled. "You alright?" "Well, yeah," I stuttered. "You?" "Yeah, I'm good." He gave me a pat on the back. "Sick prank you guys pulled." "Yeah?" I said hesitantly. "You're not angry?" "Hell no," he laughed. "That was epic." It was weird. It was the opposite of what I was expecting. But maybe it worked. Maybe he finally understood how it felt being pranked on the other side. Yet, there was something about him. Something strange. Like he was too happy. No one should be that happy after what we pulled. But I don't know. The week went by, fine. I mean, there was nothing really out of the ordinary. The days just passed, you know? Nate seemed calmer, more composed maybe, but still the same old Nate in most ways. The weekend eventually came and Frank wanted us all to go out drinking. I guess he was still feeling guilty about what we did and wanted everything to go back to normal again. I declined. The memories from last weekend still way too fresh in my mind. Nate declined too. He didn't say why, but he seemed pretty chill about it. I didn't do much that weekend. Played some video games, hung out with my brother, just chilled. I couldn't stop thinking about that box though. The horror Nate had to go through. It just kept coming back to me. Kept haunting me. It didn't add up. He should be fucking livid, but he wasn't. He didn't show any emotion, like he was dead inside. Sunday morning I got a call from Nate's mom. She had wondered if I had seen him. He'd been gone since Thursday. No one had heard from him. They were getting worried. He'd been horribly depressed, locking himself in his room, refusing to talk to anyone. Did I know why? What could have happened to him? What was going on with him? I couldn't tell her. Didn't have the guts to admit it to her. We'd broken him. Frank and me. Mostly me. I slouched down on the couch, feeling like an utter piece of shit. What was going on with him? How depressed was he? Could he be suicidal? No, not Nate. Or... My phone rang. It was Frank. I really didn't want to talk to him. Wasn't feeling it. But he just kept calling and calling and calling. "What the fuck do you want, Frank?" I finally answered. "Paul! Paul!" His voice was barely audible. The connection was horrible. "Frank?" I asked. "What's going on? Where are you?" "You gotta help me, Paul!" he yelled. "Fucking help me!" "Calm down, Frank." I said, "What the fuck is going on?" His voice was high-pitched and desperate, and I'm pretty sure he was crying, whimpering. "I'm buried, Paul!" he screamed hysterically. "I'm in the coffin!" "Wait, what? What coffin?" "Please get me out!" The connection worsened, and I could barely hear him. "Where are you?" "I'm not alone." His voice started fading. "Mr. Garibaldi is down here with me." The connection finally broke. I tried calling him back several times, but only got his voicemail. What did he mean, Mr. Garibaldi? Was he there with him? Mr. Garibaldi's dead, 6 feet under. Holy shit! My phone buzzed. It was a text message. I looked at the sender, fumbled the phone, my hands trembling, my heart racing, adrenaline pumping. It was from Nate. See you at the funeral, bro.